Folks, welcome to the Contrarian Trader. Let's begin with Diamond Foods, symbol DMND. I have mentioned Diamond Foods a number of times. We traded it a number of times. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one this evening. But if you want to know what, as a contrarian, we're looking for, you can go to my November the 13th analysis, Diamond Foods, DMND, technical analysis, and take a look at the that video, and it'll describe to you exactly what we were looking at as a long on Diamond Foods. And basically, it's a contrarian stock. I mean, this is a perfect example of a contrarian stock. Here you have it, a stock that's despised. Everybody hates it. I love it. It hit all parameters of what I look for on a technical stock to get long of. Every one of them, by every metric. Also, it has a 70% short interest. So we knew that the rally was going to be huge. Did I predict a 52.7% move in one day? No, I didn't predict that, to be honest with you. I knew it would be big. I didn't know it was going to rally this much, that far, that fast in one day. Over several days, sure, I've seen it plenty of times, but not in one day. Would I get long of Diamond Foods on Monday morning? No, no way. This trade is done. If anything, you're going to want to start looking to get short of Diamond Foods. And I wouldn't do it on Monday either. You have to watch and wait. And I will, if we decide to get short of Diamond Foods, I will send out an alert, of course. Trades that we executed last week include Chicago Mercantile Exchange. This is a 15-minute chart, symbol CME. Why did we get short of Chicago Mercantile Exchange? Well, first off, it has to deal with the MF Global collapse. Basically, the CME froze their client accounts that had any dealings with the MF Global. So the exchange is supposed to act as a middleman. And they didn't. They failed in their responsibilities, in my own humble opinion. And they didn't support their clients, and they basically pulled the trigger and put a gun in their mouth, pulled the trigger, and they executed themselves. So the stock rallied, which I was shocked at. And I figured, you know what, let me start tracking the stock. Let's see whether or not it could break below the 249 level, and then perhaps we put on a short position. I watched it. It didn't. It found a new higher low, and it rallied. So what's the next question I ask myself? The next question I ask myself is, will it be able to break out to a new high above the 259.75 level? No, it wasn't able to do so. It topped out at 258.46. And not only did it top out, it formed a key reversal on the candlestick. That was my signal. Sent out an alert to members to get short. And we kept the position on until the 6th of December. And we saw this bottoming action here. I sent out an alert to members, let's take profits, let's get out. We had a great trade here. And that's what we did. We moved to the sidelines. And yes, of course, we will be looking to short the CME once again. Because in my opinion, look at this, as a matter of fact, wonderful reversal on Friday afternoon. So I think we're going to see lower lows on CME. Let's move on to First Solar. To get an appreciation of why we got into First Solar, you'd have to go back and take a look at our video, and I believe I labeled it. It was either the last week of October, first week of November, that I sent out an analysis, the weekend commentary analysis on stocks we were watching. One was First Solar. And this chart is not up there. This is a chart that I discussed with members in the week ahead commentary that very week. I sent that out that Sunday following the posting of the free commentary. And I said to members, I said, let's be careful here. It broke below the support level, the $50 per share level. Let's draw a trend line. You can see it here. It was in a parabolic sell-off. Everybody hated it. That's why we loved it. That's a contrarian trade. And we watched as it began to pop above that declining downtrend line. That told me that you had buyers that were creeping in. The risk-reward was beginning to change in favor of longs. So I sent out an alert to members on the 11th, November the 11th, that we were going to get long of First Solar. Sure enough, and that was at a price of $44.90. Sure enough, the stock did pull back some and found support, and it rallied higher. Again, we were in here buying the stock when nobody else wanted it. It sold off. We built a position. It rallied right into its 50-day moving average, which is a natural resistance level. I didn't expect it just to continue higher. So I watched it closely. I saw resistance. I sent out an alert to members. You know what? It's forming a top and tail here. Let's get out. We have profits. Take profits off the table and get out. So a great trade for Solar. I like this stock. I'm going to be watching it to get long of once again. TZA. You're looking at a 15-minute chart of TZA. We opened TZA back here. Not for really a technical reason, more so as a hedge, because on Thursday, you had the ECB announcement of their rate cut. That was going to mean something. Mario Draghi was going to make a comment on Thursday. That could move the market, which it did, to the downside. I wanted a hedge against the EU making a bad decision, a bad call. And sure enough, they didn't disappoint. They failed once again. And we had our hedge on. It rallied. And we went into Friday long of TZA, and we didn't know which way the market was going to head. So do we add to the position? Do we take profits? What do we do? Well, when you're in that situation, all you need to do is draw a trend line, draw a line, identify previous support, put your stop loss order in just below it. If you get triggered, you get out. The last thing you want to do is allow a profit to turn into a loss. So we kept our stops tight, and we got out of TZA with a profit, and thank God we did. Thank God. There's hope in this fear. Now, if we would have hoped that it would have rallied higher, look at the mess we would have been in. I would prefer to be fearful and get out out of fear of losing that profit. TNA. We're looking to get back in on TNA. I didn't discuss it last week in the last week's commentary. We did trade it to profits last Friday, not the Friday the 9th, Friday the 2nd. And we got out. Now we're looking to get back in. And I'm going to get into this in much greater detail with members, the reasons why I want to get long of TNA. And the market's going to have to, it's going to have to provide us a couple of indicators, signals. Just because I'm mentioning it here right now doesn't mean I am going to trade it. It's going to be our vehicle to get long of this market. But the market's going to be the one to tell us whether or not we're going to get long, or do we go back to TZA and get short. One of the two. We can go either way right now. I don't care. We'll profit in either direction. Ideally, my ideal situation is that this market crashes. I want it to crash down to the 09 lows. We have so much cash on the sidelines that I want to go in there and I want to buy everything up. I had hoped, honestly, that on Friday the markets would tumble. And I'll put it to you this way. The EU needs to refinance 1 trillion euros, not dollars, euros. That's a lot more than $1 trillion. 1 trillion euros next month alone. They need to go out to the bond market and refinance all that debt because they don't have the cash to pay it off. So you need to see what's going to happen to the yields on the bonds. And that's what I'm going to be discussing with members on the week ahead commentary. You cannot just look at a stock chart and bet that the stock is going to go up. You need to understand the bond market. And I go into it a very simplistic detail. I'm not a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know what bond yields and bond prices means for the stock market. And if you fail to appreciate the bond market, you will get burnt in this market. If you fail to appreciate the correlation of the U.S. dollar and how it trades inversely of the U.S. stock market, you will get burned. So please, if you sign up for the 14-day free trial offer, it can't hurt. Cancel if you don't like the service. Send me an email, Bob, do me a favor. It's not for me. Cancel my subscription. You got it. You're out. So it's not going to hurt you to take advantage of the 14-day free trial offer. Let's move on. Sorry to get into a tirade, but I'm passionate about what I do. I can't stand the thugs that go on CNBC and they just pontificate because they have nothing else to say except for get long. These guys are nuts. They're well-dressed, well-educated, fancy pants, not able to short because they're fund managers and they're not allowed to short. What do they need you to do? They need you to buy because that's how they get their portfolio moving higher. They need to get excited so that you'll dump more money in the markets blindly to follow them. You know what kind of money they're making? It's ridiculous. It's a joke. Contrarian trading is the way to trade these markets. Let's move on to the stocks we're watching. TNA we're watching, TZA we're watching. As a matter of fact, all these stocks that I've mentioned so far that we've already traded, I'm looking to trade again. With the exception of Diamond, I'm not looking to get long of Diamond. I'm looking to get short of Diamond now. Let's take a look on an intraday basis. This is a 30-minute chart of Diamond Foods. This is a short. It's got an RSI of 92.94. But you have to respect a 70% short interest. So, please, I beg of you, do not go chasing Diamond Foods on Monday. You will get burned. The time to have been in Diamond Foods was here. It's too late. Let's move on to the stocks that we're watching. Symbol, ABAT. A couple of these are from members that were interested in the stocks that they oversold. And yes, ABAT, Advanced Battery, is oversold. It's a 30-cent stock. If you have money that's speculative, meaning speculative, what do I mean by that? If you have money that you can lose, buy ABAT, a couple of thousand shares, and expect to lose that money and afford to lose that money, fine, go ahead. Trade ABAT. I might do it myself. Because if you think about it, if you buy ABAT, and I'm going to go into a more in-depth analysis of ABAT for members, and it rallies up to its 50-day moving average or previous resistance at, or previous support, now resistance, at 92 cents per share, that's a heck of a return, folks. You can't ignore that. So we'll watch it, and if it does what I want it to do, we'll get long of it. PFSW. I don't know anything about their fundamentals, and I really don't care because, frankly, they all lie anyway. This is a $2.73 stock. What do I like about it? I like the technicals. It's meeting the criteria that I like for extreme oversold stocks. On the candlesticks, you have a tug of war going on between the bulls and bears. You can see this topping action and the bottoming action here. That's an indicator that the bulls and bears, they don't know which way to take this stock. Again, I'll repeat, do not go jumping into these stocks on Monday morning. I might not trade them. But if the stars are in alignment and I like what I'm seeing on an intraday basis, we'll buy the stock, get long of it, and I will send out an alert to members. Wells Fargo. I'm going to go into great detail. I'm not going to discuss Wells Fargo right now. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about the banks in tomorrow's The Week Ahead commentary going out to members. It will not be posted on the website. It's members only. And it's about 25 to 35-minute video. So we're going to go into the banks as well. Also, we're going to discuss gold. This is a weekly chart of gold. Just judging by the candlestick action here and the price and volume action, see if you can guess what I'm thinking about with gold. One clue. Previous high of 185.95. Now it puts in a lower high at 175.46. What do you think the probability is that am I going to long or short the stock? See if you can guess it. And that's short term. Longer term, I have a different trade philosophy when it comes down to gold. FXC. This is the Euro Trust. Now, they solved nothing in Europe, in the Eurozone. What came out of Brussels on Friday solves nothing. They have a political agreement, not an economic agreement. Again, I remind you, they need to refinance 1 trillion euros next month. We'll see what the bond market demands in terms of yield. And if the bond market says, you know what, we're not satisfied, or if S&P comes out and downgrades the Eurozone, well, folks, there's going to be a bloodbath over there. So I urge you, please be careful. This market is not a buy and hold market. If you think that that's the way to trade this market, you're going to get burned. Do you know how many times, I don't know, this is a rhetorical question. Do you know how many times that the market has traded between positive and negative this year? Every time we turn on CB, the market has just gone positive on the year. Again? Again? So please, I beg of you, buy and hold is dead in your short-term portfolio. Longer term, you need to see that big sell-off, that climactic sell-off, hopefully a retest of the 2009 lows. Then we get all in with our cash because nothing's solved. Because what's going to happen if, suppose Euro was solved on Friday. They solved it. What would happen? Well, the bond vigilantes would turn their sights on the United States, which is just as much of an offender as the European nations are. So what's happening in Eurozone can easily happen here. So I beg of you, join the Contrarian Trader. Learn how we're trading these markets. And as you can see, the frequency of our trades, we're not buying holders right now in our short-term portfolio. Do we have longer-term trades? Yes, we do. However, we prefer to be short-term traders right now. That's it, folks. If you have any questions, please, I'd be more than happy to answer your emails. As long as it's not a question that I would normally answer for a member, I'm sure you can appreciate that. My members do subscribe, and I have to respect them. That's it, folks. Have a great trading week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.